Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. The Glazers to ruin football for all. The Glazers are planning to ditch the Champions League for this new European Super League. Sky Sports said this morning that 12 clubs have agreed to join this new European Super League. But it does say here that Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham quit the European Club Association, with Red Devils CEO Ed Woodward resigning from his senior UEFA role after Premier League clubs joined Europe's elite in announcing shock Super League. I presume a lot of people disagree with this, and I certainly disagree with it. I'm very, very sceptical that this will go ahead. I really am. You know, Gary Neville has had a lot to say on this, and he totally disagrees with it. Roy Keane, he's also given his perception on it. You know, 6 of the 12 clubs that have agreed are obviously Premier League clubs. It's just basically so owners of clubs can generate more money. That's what it basically is. So anyway, that is the news on that. I mentioned it, didn't I, on the video I did this morning. Now, Manchester United's next game is Leeds United in the Premier League. It's 2 o'clock on Sunday. The War of the Roses. We won our last league game against Burnley 3-1. Wasn't a great performance by Manchester United, but we still got the win. The goals came from Mason Greenwood, he got a brace, and Edison Cavani came off the bench and scored, and Burnley's goal came from Tarkowski. Five wins in a row now for Manchester United, and we've done the double over Burnley. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 in the league this season. I think second place is secure now for Manchester United. Our only chance of any silverware this season is the Europa League. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. A club of our stature needs to be winning trophies. We are into the Europa League semi-finals. It's 5 semi-finals now in total under Solskjaer. We do play Roma in the semi-finals, and I think Solskjaer is aware of how much of a tough game that will be against Roma. You know, Solskjaer recently spoke about Man United facing Roma in the semi-final, and he said that Edin Dzeko will pose the biggest threat to Manchester United. But we win the Europa League and we finish second. I'll turn around and say that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. Even if we fail to win the Europa League though, we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to be sacked as Manchester United manager, so I can assure he will be here in the summer transfer window and he'll be Man United manager next season. I did say that Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the football club because progress has been made in certain aspects. Now, Leeds United, they've had a pretty good season to their standards. This has been Leeds' first season in the Premier League since 2004. Leeds United were relegated from the Premier League in 2004 and they was out of the top flight for like 16 years. Leeds obviously won the Championship last season. That was their first trophy in 28 years. Now, we've won our last 3 meetings against Leeds, obviously beating them 6-2 at Old Trafford earlier on this season. That's one of the best games Man United have enjoyed this season. That was the first meeting, by the way, between Man United and Leeds in 17 years, or almost 17 years. Obviously played them in pre-season in the summer of 2019, beating them 4-0. That was in Australia. And we're beating them in the League Cup back in 2011 at Ellen Road 3-0. Last time Leeds beat us was in the FA Cup third round back in 2010. It was a goal from Jermaine Beckford. I think Leeds are like sitting 10th, is it, in the Premier League. You know, their current manager is Marcelo Bielsa. And to be fair, he is a pretty good manager. You know, got a decent pedigree behind him, used to manage in Argentina. Leeds have got some good players. Obviously, you know, that Rodrigo's very, very good. Leeds got him last year for like £27 million. He's out with injury at the moment. Diego Llorente, he's good. He was injured earlier on this season. They brought Llorente in last year. Rafinha's made an impact at Leeds. Leeds got him last year. He's out of injury at the moment. They brought Robin Koch in as well last year. They've got that Helder Costa. Stuart Dallas, he's also very, very good. Adam Forshaw, he doesn't really get in Leeds United's team. I think he's actually out with injury at the moment. Meslier, he's a pretty good goalkeeper. They've got Ayling and Alioski, who are quite good. That Jack Harrison's quite good, but he needs to improve on his crossing. Liam Cooper, he's quite good as well. Calvin Phillips is good, and Patrick Bamford, he's also very, very good. He's probably one of Leeds' best players. You know, we have done business with Leeds before. Don't forget, a lot of years ago, we got Rio Ferdinand off them, and we got Eric Cantona off them, and don't forget, we got Alan Smith off them. Leeds do play tonight against Liverpool at Elland Road. But I fancy us to beat Leeds United on Sunday. You know, after Leeds, we do play Roma in the Europa League semi-final. And then it's Liverpool. And Liverpool is going to be a tough game. You know, the news on the transfers. You already know the news on Raphael Varane. There's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Raphael Varane. He said recently that we face competition for Raphael Varane, because Bill's Christian Farke said that Chelsea had entered the race for Raphael Varane. So reflecting on that, Chelsea are looking to hijack our move. Reports from Spain said a few days ago that Man United were in advanced talks with Real Madrid to sign Raphael Varane. Real Madrid's asking price is £60 million, but we hope to lower Real Madrid's £60 million asking price. He says we are preparing a transfer bid and Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid. But he recently said that Varane to Man United could be off, because it did say that Sergio Ramos is leaving Real Madrid. Rafael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. He's got just over a year left on his current contract with Real Madrid. Eduardo Inda, the Spanish transfer expert, said earlier on this season that Rafael Varane could be on his way to Man United. And earlier on this season, there was narratives coming out saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Rafael Varane. But I'd certainly take him at Manchester United. The main explanations I'd take Rafael Varane is because he's a world-class centre-half. Plus, he'd go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. And he's highly experienced. He's like 27 years of age now. And if he comes to the Premier League, he will exceed expectations and he'll replicate what he's done at Real Madrid. Rafael Varane has been at Real Madrid 10 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He's won 18 major honours, so he's got a good pedigree behind him now as a player. And he's made over 300 appearances. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. But there's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. Said the other week that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. Wesley Fofana from Leicester, he's recently been on our agenda. Reports from France said that Man United have made contact with Leicester over a possible move for Fofana. Leicester are demanding £80 million. So that's what we'll have to pay. So we'll have to pay the exact same fee as what we paid for Harry Maguire in the summer of 2019. This is Wesley Fofana's first season at Leicester, and he's done quite well. Leicester paid £36.5 million for him from Saint Etienne, and he's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. So do you think he'd go well alongside Maguire in our back line? You know the news on Declan Rice from West Ham? Recent narrative said that Declan Rice is interested in joining Manchester United. Apparently Declan Rice had asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. So yeah, he's interested in coming. West Ham are demanding like £100 million. Declan Rice is not worth £100 million. I reckon he's worth from between £50 to £60 million. But he is a very, very good player. The main explanations I'd take him at Man United, Declan Rice, is because he's proven in the Premier League. He's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. And he's predominantly a holding midfielder. And Manchester United are in search for a holding midfielder. But there again, Declan Rice can also be deployed as a centre-half. He's under contract at West Ham till 2024 and he's been at West Ham for like 7 years. So he's been a long-serving player. I've already given you the news on Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. It recently said that Man United are relying on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's close bond with Haaland to secure the signing of the player. Who will Erling Haaland's next club be? Because Erling Haaland leaving Borussia Dortmund is extremely likely now following Borussia Dortmund's Champions League exit by Manchester City. Dortmund are demanding £150 million. The Athletic said not so long ago that we are actually one of the clubs that can afford him. But I'd love Manchester United to get Erling Haaland because he knows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer well for a start. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16 at Mulder. So it'd be good to see him reunite with a player. Number 2, he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And number 3, he would assure us goals. Don't forget next year Erling Haaland's available for around 68 million because that's when his release clause becomes active. You know, Mini Oriola, his agent, and his father Alf Inch Haaland the other week flown to England for talks with several Premier League clubs. They've also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. But it actually said the other week that Haaland to Man United was off following Mini Oriola's roadshow. And I recently give you the news on Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. But in the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Manchester United to make around 3 or 4 signings. We may even make 5 signings. And I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and I think we also need a centre-half. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware how big this year's summer transfer window is for him and Manchester United in general. Reports said earlier on this season that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. The summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. So far, he's endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager, and he's spent almost £300 million. Yeah, he has made some good signings, like I've mentioned on so many of my videos, but as yet, he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in, and in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. The board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. You know, just check my battery again. But I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window because Woodward is standing by Solskjaer. He showed his support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times, even when we was enduring them really bad periods. And Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. Like I've said so many times, our board have got a soft stance on Ole with him being a legend of the club. We have got John Murtaugh, he's our director of football. And we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. We are going to offload quite a few players in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that Edison Cavani will leave. But I presume a lot of United fans and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer want him to stay for next season because Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Now, it recently said that we'd been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Edison Cavani, because the Uruguay manager advised Edison Cavani to stay in Europe. Prior to the game against Tottenham, Solskjaer did mention that he was unsure over Cavani's future. Not so long ago, we held showdown talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club. Footballer Insider reported earlier on this season saying that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. And he's got a verbal agreement with them, and Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Marcus Rojo has held talks with Edison Cavani over a move to Boca Juniors. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United, and Cavani's father did reveal that Cavani is unhappy, he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. But let me just put this on charge. Analysing the vast majority of his games, he's been very, very good. You know, his hold-up play's been good. He's scored goals. He's created chances. And his movement in and out of the box has been good. But there has been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer. You know, because Anthony Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. The chances have been there for Anthony Martial, but he hasn't converted them. He's no longer good enough to represent the club, and I reckon if we sell him in the summer transfer window, we'll get around £30 million. He's out of injury at the moment. It's very likely he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good in his debut season under Van Gaal, and I thought he was pretty good last season. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt, Anthony Martial. We got Martial in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he doesn't get in R11. And my element of concern about Juan Mata, he's in his 30s and he's lost that yard of pace. Time for him to move on now. Towards the start of this season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Mata's current contract expires in June. There's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. I think Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club almost 7 years now, is it? We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. Nemanja Matic, I think there's also a good chance that we'll offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Plus I've still got my strong reservations about him because he's a static player and plus he's aging up. He isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. The club made a mistake by giving Matic that new 3-year deal before the start of this season. He's been at the club now almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window, but there again he could stay potentially past the summer. I presume a lot of Manchester United fans would like Paul Pogba to stay potentially past the summer because we have been getting the best out of him in recent months. You know, his performances have been very good and he brings creativity to the team. Recently, Pogba's been playing in more of an advanced role. I think we need to keep him in that advanced role because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on Paul Pogba in a deeper role and we've played him in that deeper role a few times. Don't forget, Pogba had a thigh injury earlier on this season, so he was out for a while. He was out for the first part of this season with an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Pogba has insisted that he's happy at Manchester United. He recently said that he's demanding £500,000 a week to sign a new contract. I don't think we'll be able to afford this, but if he was to meet his demands and he was to sign this new contract, it would take his overall earnings to almost £800,000 a week because he's on like 290 grand a week at the moment on his current contract. And yeah, it'd also make him the highest paid player if he was to meet his demands. Paul Pogba's current contract expires next year. Because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Don't forget, Pogba recently criticised Jose Mourinho. He says Jose Mourinho went against the players and Solskjaer is different. So reflecting on that, Paul Pogba is 100% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Jose Mourinho hit back at Paul Pogba's comments and he said he doesn't care less what he's had to say. By the way, there's big breaking news regarding Mourinho. He has been sacked as Tottenham manager. I knew it wasn't going to be long before Tottenham were going to sack him. He was Tottenham manager for over a year and he did have a contract with Tottenham until 2023. But yeah, it's the right decision by Tottenham to sack him because like I said not so long ago, Mourinho has passed his sell-by date. But he has got a proven pedigree behind him because he must have won like 25 major honours in his managerial career. Pogba though, revert back to what I said regarding Pogba. He's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. And his former club Juventus have been in for him. I did say there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus, Pogba, because he did enjoy 4 very good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United, and swap deals have been high on the agenda. You know, it says from Italian reports not so long ago there could be a swap deal involving Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba. Do you think that'd be a good swap deal? It said Juventus were also willing to offer as Paulo Dybala for Paul Pogba. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. And obviously Mino Raiola's been desperate to get his client out of the football club. Phil Jones, I'm also expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in our 11, and plus he's always been inconsistent, and he's been out of injury now for like 14 months, is it, or something like that. This is his 10th season at the club, so Jones has been a long servant. It's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Diego Dalot, I think we'll get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. I'm expecting us to offload Romero because he's like our 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper. And De Gea, I think, we could sell him. But a lot of United fans believe it would be a mistake to let De Gea go. I don't think it would be, because I reckon De Gea has now had his years at Manchester United. So, there you go. But like I say, in general, in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. You know, there's a lot of players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. And I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said in regards to him in my other videos, is the best manager that we've had since Ferguson. He really is. You know, I presume that there's still a lot of United fans that are Ole in and they believe that he needs more time at the club. Obviously, there's been a lot of United fans criticising Solskjaer, and there's been a lot of United fans demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club. They've obviously got main explanations why they want him out of the club. At the first part of this season, I was demanding him out of the club. But the main explanation he's still Man United manager is because he's a club legend, and I think that's what's basically saved him. Disregarding him being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. You know, Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager over 2 years. So reflecting now on he's been at the club, you know, he's learned different things. You know, he's tried different elements such as different formations, and he's rotated the squad quite a lot. He's gained managerial experience. I do have my concerns about Ole, like I've gone through with you before, but there's also quite a lot of positives regarding Ole. You know, I think progress has been made this season from last season. You know, his decision making in some games has been good, but in other games it hasn't been good. His decision making's got to be good though, persistently. You know, we are 2nd in the Premier League. We've got a very good away record. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year, so we are unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games. You know, we've enjoyed good periods under Ole where he's got the best out of the team. You know, Solskjaer's got us to the Europa League semi-final. Hopefully he can get to his first major final as Man United manager. Got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. You know, last season, in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals. Got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. That's second highest we finished since Ferguson. And he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in as well. I also like the way that Ole has promoted the youth, and he's beaten some big name managers, hasn't he? But you know, Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. One thing Solskjaer did assure when he got appointed in as Man United manager, that everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players, and more or less everybody has been given their chances. So yeah, they are the positives regarding Ole, you know. But whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Man United works out or not, I'll still always love him because he's a club legend. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Manchester United. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance. I'll stick to what I said though. He's not the long-term future for the club. Anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.